Good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to our weekly Thursday Rockwell Veterans Business Alliance $10,000 Thursday session, baby. Mr. Doc Redigan with us and the Honorable Casey Ashmore. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Oh, man. Crazy, busy, beautiful week. Can't complain. Got back from a much-needed time off, which I really wasn't off, but just really glad to be back here, focused on what's important. Growing our businesses, creating value, building relationships, and understanding how we can work in unison with each other to become successful.
Excellent. Right on. How's your week going, brother?
Right on. Well said. Well said. It's a beautiful 110 outside.
Yep.
So being inside, talking to the three of you and everybody out there in Facebook land, we appreciate you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
With that being said, I don't even know what week number we're on. I'm going to shot in the dark. I think we're probably on week like 19 or 20 or something like that. So it's from the bottom of our hearts that we say thank you guys for tuning in, sharing the video, really just following along. I mean, I can speak for all of these guys here. We've received a boatload of Facebook messages and text messages and phone calls that are like, man, that topic really hit me, or hey, what about this topic? But the biggest thing that we're doing is we're providing value to you guys as RVBA leadership, and we're bringing in new people. So it's really cool to see that. So with that being said, we brought in a new RVBA member, and it's by a company. The owner of the company's name is Matt Knowles, and it is Aquatic Arts Pools and Spas. And I told the guys I would do a little 30-second pitch here for him because I personally work with Matt on pools and outdoor systems and stuff like that. And I can tell you there's a lot of options out there for pool builders, but what I notice about Aquatic Arts Pools and Spas is that they take the time for the attention to detail. Every little thing is thought out. They work with the other contractors really well. They will take and customize your outdoor, not just pool, but living area. And a lot of the times they can get it done in a very quick time. We'll post some information on them, but Matt Knowles, we appreciate you being a part of the RVBA, brother, and go out there and kill it. We see you. You're doing great work, so we appreciate you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. I'm going to type in all the business highlight details. Casey, rock and roll, brother.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. The title of tonight's episode broadcast is Endgame, right? We are going to recap the summer of learning, where it was a superhero themed summer. And, one of the things that we try to do with the RVBA is to build value, especially because, the coronavirus in a lot of ways has kind of been like a Thanos to the world, right? And who is Thanos? Well, watch some Avengers movies. There's only 22 of them, people. But, he's this big purple Titan. He's a bad dude. He's got a gauntlet of power that holds the Infinity Stones, and with that, he can wipe out the universe, and he wipes out half the universe. And the coronavirus has wiped out a lot of businesses, maybe not half, but it froze businesses for 60, 70 days, froze the judicial system, and it's just this unending problem, right? And Endgame is to recap all of those things that we talked about over the summer, all those challenges, and then of course how to focus on what you can do to beat your own Titan, the Titan in your business life, what is preventing you from getting ahead. And before I turn it over, one of the things that RVBA and especially a big thanks to Jeff Skinner and Doc Redigan for setting aside every week for I don't know how many weeks in a row, but also the Saturdays and Sundays where the planning sessions, it's the time, where we're trying to get those free throws. And the reason why that's critical is for two things, because the chamber is virtual at this point, right? The thing about the business training that we are sharing with each other is so critical right now because, I'm a few chapters ahead of you guys, but I grew up in a world where your employer was one stop. Like if your dad got out of the Army and he went to work for Ford, he retired from Ford.
Yeah.
Right? He went to work for IBM. He retired from IBM. My dad worked 27 years at IBM after he left the Army, right? Those days are gone. Okay. Nobody's going to work for IBM for 27 years. Right now, the average is 4 to 5 years for an employee, and there's almost no training. The employer expects you to come in with all this business acumen, right? So where are you going to get that business acumen? Well, you got to get a mastermind group. You got to get your own set of Avengers, and that's what's right here on this TV bubble, right? You've got to have a team that can lift you up and educate you and sharpen the saw and help you see those unanticipated problems like Thanos, like Titans who can wield a gauntlet of power that can, smote your butt into oblivion, or coronavirus and how you're going to deal with going virtual and your commercial office lease, etc. Anyway, thanks guys for viewing. We love doing these for you. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Doc, regarding Endgame.
Yeah. So when we became an entrepreneur and we decided to take that leap of faith and start our own small business, and we had to have an end game, right?
Yeah.
I needed to know what was my end result. Did I want to build a company that I can pass on to my children? I like roofing. I like drug test. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Are my children going to be that? So I needed to talk with not only to my wife, but I needed to talk with my children to see if they have the same dynamic. We need to understand what is the end result when you go into business for yourself. Do you plan on passing it along? Do you want to sell that company? How do you value your business after X amount of years? So that's what we really kind of want to dive into, because that's what we were talking about over the whole entire summer, right? So it started from one analogy of working smarter and not harder to committing to be your best, showing up and suiting up every single day. Well, now we've done all of those things, and 15, 20 years have passed, and we've been running this business. What is our end result?
Absolutely.
I know that's really tough to be able to have that kind of future foresight, but that's what it's important. That's why it's so important that we all have a vision board, that we have a 10-year goal, and we work backwards to accomplish that 10-year goal all the way down to 24 hours. What do we do every day to reach that 10-year mark? So for me personally, I don't want to be a damn roofer my whole life. I don't want to do drug testing my whole life. I don't want to do COVID testing my whole life, right? I want to be able to have an end result. My goal is at the age of 55, if not earlier, is to be having Tahitis on the doggone beach of Tahiti. I don't know if you can do that, but I will. You know,
get in where you fit in, Doc.
Right? You know what I mean? So that's kind of where my end game wants to be, is to be able to provide wealth to my family so that they're not struggling, that I'm not struggling, and I'm not relying on the damn government to pay me Social Security. You know what I mean? So that's what we have to understand as small business owners. We went into business for ourselves so that I didn't have to rely on somebody else to send me a paycheck. So what are y'all's thoughts on what do y'all want your end result to be?
Well, let me do something real quick, and this will be quick, but I want to just recap. So we started 9 July, and I just want to go down through here. So we talked about emulating the great. We talked about emotions, how to handle positive and negative emotions in business. We talked about innovation, working smarter and not harder. We talked about the growing pains in business. And we also talked about understanding the power of concentration and focus. So the reason I wanted to recap those is because it goes into exactly what you're saying, Doc, is that if you start, and I'll use Casey's analogy here. I love this one. If you're in a boat and your compass goes out, you could float hundreds of miles away within minutes without direction, without knowing your end game. What is my total process to get to the end? You could float away. So what we want to really hit on here today is, everybody has a different path. Everyone gets to the end game their own way, but realize that you have a network of Avengers, using that term, around you. The RVBA, the YPR, whatever mastermind you're in, don't feel like you're doing this alone. I'm going through some things in my business where I'm blessed to be so overwhelmed by business that it's almost keeping me from getting new business. So my end game right now is to realize, how can I grow and still manage all of these people that I have under my clientele business. So, let's start with decisiveness. It's one of our big topics because I think we can all agree to get to the end game, you have to make decisive decisions, right? I don't know if those are two words go together, but
They definitely do. Decisive decision making is key, and being responsible for those decisive decisions.
yeah,
It's almost like once you pull the trigger and that rounds out, you are ultimately responsible of where that lands, right? And a great example of that is when I try and I lead from the front, and I give my coworkers as much rope as they need to be able to hang them their own self.
yeah,
That can turn around and bite me in the ass, and it has, and which allowed me to kind of go, okay, maybe I didn't give enough instruction, maybe I didn't provide enough clarity, maybe I wasn't decisive enough or stern enough, right? Oftentimes we're like, damn, I really don't want to make this guy micromanage somebody.
yeah,
But when your brand is on the line and your company and image is on the line, it doesn't matter what mistakes the other people made that you told to do it. The ultimate responsibility rests on the owner of the company.
absolutely.
And the brand of that company. So making decisive decisions should take time, but not so much time that you never make a decision.
Right.
You know what they call that? Paralysis by analysis.
Yes, that's.
Hey man, that's dog right there. What's up, Jeff?
I'm telling you, and it's serious, man, because I'll use an example from my industry. There's about 1 million speaker lines out there. So when I talk to clients, hey, what's this speaker? Hey, what is that speaker? They get in this endless loop of researching technology, and it just goes, it's like the VA, man. You go from one page to 15 tabs like that. So, you got a great point right there. When you got to make decisions, and sometimes they're not easy decisions, but you have to understand that in order to get from A to B to C to D, decisions are part of that key, right, Casey?
Right. Yeah. No, that's so critical. And, there are some things that you can do to simple things, right? Like, I'm a creature of habit. I don't go to a lot of restaurants, but most of them that I go to, I don't even have to say what I want. They know what I want. Because go to Wells Burger.
No bun.
He plugs it in, right? He, Grazer salad, chicken, egg, avocado, boom. However, you go someplace new, right? Let's say so you're taking your wife out, read the entire menu once, and then pick something.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to build decisiveness into. Don't spend 20 minutes hemming and hawing to decide if you're at a new Mexican restaurant whether you're going to have cheese enchiladas. Pick something, scan the entire menu one time, pick something new. Boom.
Good point there.
That's an easy way to build your ability to be decisive and make, you got to learn how to crawl, then you learn how to walk, then you learn how to run. Start making easy decisions quicker, then you're going to make more complicated, scaling decisions, these decisions about your brand, about how much training and time that you're going to have to put into personnel to make sure you protect your brand. Those decisions become easier because you've eliminated, some of these simpler decisions that, again, analysis paralysis. I've watched, and I love her to death, my daughter stare at a menu for 20 minutes, right? Who hasn't seen a friend do that? Oh, I don't know what to get. Everything looks so good. Man, just get the eggs and the hash browns. Come on, we're at Denny's. Let's go. Yeah. Right? Get black coffee, eggs, hash browns. Easy. Anyway, that is an easy way to train your mind to make decisions more quick. And then the other thing about being decisive is that I think this is a lesson both from all of our superheroes, but any leader in business. And, the superheroes are just a personification of everything we want to be great. But, Tony Stark going down this road, the battle, the Titan Thanos, he makes that decision. First, he doesn't want to do it. Then he makes the decision to do it.
Yeah.
And then that's it. It's game on. There's no, hold on, let's have a committee meeting, and get everybody around a conference room, sit down for 4 hours and, playbook this out. No, That's not how it happens. There's no retraction of that decisive decision. You're marching forward. That decision is made. Now all you have to do is the next 50 decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they come in quick too, don't they? As a small business owner, I tell you what, man, I have a background in project management and operations, and I thought I made decisions there. Dude, those decisions you're making for someone else's company, they hold no flame to the decisions you make on your own company, without question. 100%. I tell you.
Sure. That's a lot more when you make the wrong decision. But I do know this: you got to take ownership of your outcomes.
Yeah.
Right. So what that means is if extraordinary results are what you want, being a victim isn't going to work. Right. So change only occurs when you're accountable. So stay out of the passenger seat and get in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of times as business owners, it's scary to take ownership of bad decisions, but it's super easy to take ownership of all the great decisions.
That's human nature, though. Yeah.
That's human nature.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you want extraordinary results inside your business, you take ownership of every single decision that you make. The other day, I tell you what, we had about a $2,200 error. Right. And I'm looking for who's at fault. And at the end of the day, I am every single time, regardless of the outcome. I am 100% responsible for everybody that's decided to work underneath the brands that I represent.
And you have to be. I mean, that's part of leadership. I mean, and I think we've beat that horse on the leadership front. But man, a lot of leadership is selflessness. It's really what it comes down to. We have a saying that the more we give, the more we get. I think all of us live by that kind of code or that ethos or whatever. And, it's one of those things where I've been in a position where I've been selfish, and I was for a very, very, very long time. And I made the decision to change that whole thought process, change that mentality. And as soon as I started getting in a situation where I felt like, okay, I'm going to just start giving as much as I possibly can, whether that's time. I give a hell of a lot more time than I give money because I think that's more important.
It's more valuable. It's the only thing you can't get back.
Yeah, and I think it's way more important to give your time than your money. Anybody can write a check, man. You know what I mean? It's simple. So selflessness is another big point that I think we should cover here, because I think as every business owner or leader within a business has to understand the concept of selflessness and what the importance is of it.
Yeah, being selfless, it's definitely a habit that has to be created.
Let me stop you right there. On average, it takes more than 2 months to create a habit. Did you know that? 66 days is the average to create a habit. Yep. So it's not something you can do overnight. Continue. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, great point. I've always been a giver in nature, right? And it has come back to bite me in the ass where people take advantage. But understanding whenever I give, I don't expect anything back in return. And that's really important for me. I know some people are like, oh, well, if I give a little bit here, I'm going to get a reward over there. And to be selfless that's not what it is for me. And in a company, I know let's see, about a month and a half ago, I met a Marine, probably, I don't know, his late 60s, diagnosed with full terminal cancer, and talked with him in depth with him. And I said, hey, man, I'll give you a brand new roof. His insurance screwed him over, the whole 9 yards. It wasn't a large home. It was about $3,000. And he was like, well, what do you want in return? And I was like, I don't want anything. He's like, are you crazy? I was like, I'm a little bit crazy. So
yeah.
Don't tell my wife about it. And I said, we'll be fine. And, from there, man, we probably talk once or twice a week. I check up on him. So there's a reward there, but it's like it's inside of here, right? Absolutely. So that's where it feels good at. Yeah. And so I try to keep that bank full. Yeah. I can be broke. But if I'm happy, joyous, and free on the inside, you can't fucking stop me.
And you can't be broke.
Yeah.
If you're full here, if you've been writing little paychecks and little deposits here, all these years, yeah, we can't make sanitizer. We can't make, we can't make face masks. We got to buy that shit from China. Right.
Yeah.
So, but we do other things. We do other things to, here's a simple, saying. I had some really good mentors when I first started coming up in this profession, and I had some really bad ones, but I had some people that I was like, this is absolutely not how this is how you, if you want to run a business into the ground, follow this guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, insert business name, right?
Yeah. Insert business. Anyhow, but the point is, this guy said, every time you do a good job, you write a little paycheck to your heart. And you know what? You don't ever have to cash those in because you're building the brand of you. And that was a very important thing. I was working for some big state law firm. The mothership was out there in Georgia. We had satellite offices in West Virginia and Dallas. And, who is this guy to me to be giving me this? But I thought it was great advice. And I listened to that because, there's a reason why you listen to that, because it's truth, right? And when you give selflessly of your time, right, of your treasures, of your talents, what are you skilled? Jeff is amazing at audiovisual and a whole lot of other things, but has given me so much time on audiovisual training that he didn't have to, right? Gave me a punch list of everything I needed to do in case I needed to put on my own closing and run all my projections from my MacBook out in the middle of nowhere in East Texas where there's no technology at all. And bam, right? It was that training from Jeff that helped close that case, that persuaded the court to give us the relief we requested because we had our shit in one sock. We knew what we were doing with the audiovisual equipment, and we used it to powerfully project our message, right? So it was Jeff's selfless giving. Jeff, what do I need to, guy spent a day on Amazon giving me a list with all the links of all the equipment that I would need. And I bought it all, right? And that's just reflective of, the servant's heart or however you want to, phrase it. But that's the right mindset, because it's exactly what you said. If you're in this, like, I'm going to be an RVBA because I'm going to get more business leads. Well, that's not likely to happen if that's the only reason you're an RVBA. If you're in the chamber to develop professionally, make friends, have fun, and build relationships, the good will come from that without the need for the quid pro quo. Because what we have learned from all of our masterminds, right? All of our Avenger teams, Napoleon Hill, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't care who your guru is, right? It doesn't matter, but almost all of them have the exact same message. It is that selfless giving that will bring the reward.
It goes right back to give more than you get, and I promise you're going to find yourself in the right circles. It's all about mindset and synergy. I never used that word synergy until Doc brought that up 6 months ago when we were game planning, and it was like we all looked around each other like, that's why this works. Mm-hmm. We're not in this for ourselves. We're in this for everything else. And that's part of being, sacrificing. You opened up, Casey, by saying you appreciate what we do. Man, it goes the same way. But, as a business owner, and I'll tie this into our topic here, Iron Man at the end of Endgame, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, sacrificed himself for the greater good of the cause. So there are going to be sacrifices along the way as a business owner, as a leader in your business, that you're going to have to just, I don't know any other way to say it, but nut up and just make it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doc, tell us some of the sacrifices that you've dealt with. I mean, you're a multiple business owner. You've been a serial entrepreneur since you and I got out of high school together and out of the service. Tell us how important sacrifice is, man. You've been doing this for 10 plus years. You should know.
Man, I don't even know where to start. To be honest with you, and I don't even look at them as sacrifices, to be perfectly honest, because the word sacrifice to me sounds scary. You know what I mean? You're like putting something up on an altar and sacrificing. It's like, so
watching Netflix.
Right? And so, but what have I given up in order to make my life better, right?
Yeah.
Giving up people that I thought were friends that weren't on the same track that I was. I've given up weekends, holidays, freaking anniversaries. You know what I mean? In order to make in order the clients were taken care of. I've worked, 20, 40, 60-hour weeks, pulling all in odd and end jobs to be able to create those when I'm rubbing pennies together. I'll tell you an interesting story. When I started this drug testing company 10 years ago, I was like, man, nobody knows who I am. Nobody's going to want a mobile drug tester. I'm going to be everybody's enemy. Nobody likes that guy.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, well, shit, how am I going to pitch this in order to become successful? And so what I did, I became a courier, right? I've never hauled shit to people, but in my brain, I said, well, if I'm a courier, I can go to these warehouses and manufacturers and I can deliver whatever they need. And I can walk through the back door and talk to the safety and the HR managers because I've built that relationship.
Yep.
I had to sacrifice the job that I was wanting to do and the company that wanted to grow to a low. I'm telling you, I was making like $8 an hour.
That's
but the end result, right? That's huge money. You know what I'm saying? But the end result in my brain was, it's not about the money. It's about the sacrifice that I'm having to do right now, which is hot shot all over DFW so I can generate leads. Because you can't just call people and say, hey, I want to drug test your people. You got to work a relationship.
That don't work.
It just doesn't work. And so that was probably the biggest sacrifice that I made, was I took a job that in my mind that I felt I was overqualified for.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to swallow my pride. I had to become humble. And I said, you know what, Mike, if you just take this bottom of the barrel job and you have a plan, then it'll work out. So that was one of the biggest sacrifices I made, was to swallow my pride, be a little bit of humble pie, and do the scut work. You know what I mean?
That's huge.
Do the damn scut work.
That's huge, because knowing your type A personality, taking that bottom of the barrel job must have been tough. Yeah,
because you show up to a dock and it's some bullshit manager going, yeah, put that over there, okay, kid. And I'm like, whoa, bro, who are you talking to? I'm my own damn company. I got a bachelor's degree. You know what I'm saying? I got a lit in my resume, but I'm swallowed. I'm like, yes, sir, no problem. Bring it over here. But they don't ever see me walk around the back door, talk to the managers, talk to the owners, grab a client, come back 6 months later and say, hey, boss, I need you to come pee in this cup. He's like, hey, aren't you that guy? He said, absolutely, that's who I was, but you can't, but you know what I mean? So that's those small sacrifices that I've made was all about the end game. What did I want 5 years from now? What did I do today so I can accomplish my 2-year goal, my 5-year goal, my 10-year goal, right? So that's what's important about sacrificing today in order to achieve the lifestyle you want 5-10 years down the road.
You know what? I will say one thing real quick, because I know I can see Casey's wheels spinning there. You know, I'm with you. I didn't look at the sacrifices I had to make while working a 40-hour job and getting my business off the ground. I didn't look at that as a sacrifice. I looked at that as a necessary part of my end game.
Yeah.
It's a mindset shift as well. You know, the word sacrifice does have some condescending and some negative feel to it. Don't think of it as a negative thing. You know, you're working towards a greater cause. And man, I worked 80-hour weeks, weekends, nights, Sundays. It didn't matter. I just knew that was something I had to do. No matter what, if I wanted to hit my goal, which was start my business and in 2 years quit my job. And I was able to do it. So look at sacrifices as a tool to motivate your ass. That's what I would say about sacrifice.
Absolutely. I mean, without sacrifice, you'll never grow. Without getting out there and being the guy that is the bottom of the barrel guy, because as a leader, I will never tell somebody to do something that I wouldn't already do.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if I'm going to say, hey man, I need you to go do this, and they look back at me and go, man, that's bullshit, I said, well, cool. I'll go do it my damn self. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I've already been here, done that. Go home. Exactly. I don't need you if you're going to complain about doing hard work. That's the damn problem with our society anyways.
So speaking of hard work, the other thing too is freaking work harder than everybody. Be the hardest worker in the room. What do you say, Casey?
Man, that's absolutely got to be the end game. And, you know, there are a lot of sacrifices that you can be grateful for, but
Yeah.
working harder than anybody, that's a sacrifice because you're giving up some time somewhere, probably a lot of time, a lot of family time, a lot of goof off time that you could be hanging out with your boys, game of basketball, you know, go a softball league, whatever. And you're sacrificing all that. Why? Because your end game is to be the best in your business space and to be better than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's something that Iron Man, you know, come on. How could you have not watched all these movies at this point? But let's set that aside. Spoiler alert. Iron Man is constantly rubbing and jabbing at the other Avengers because, like, hey, didn't anybody else read? You know, of course, they give him, like, you know, a binder, a computer database full of information on how to defeat Loki or Thanos or this, that, and the other. And, like, it's one night and he's read it all, right? He's got it. He's got a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to leave Pepper Potts behind to go do that, right? You know, take his suit. Happy drives him to the Avenger plane. And, you know, and then he goes off and becomes, you know, Tony Stark drilling down to take on these you know, otherworldly challenges. But that's not that different from the challenges we face in our own world. And he worked harder than any other Avenger. He was always on the grind. And yes, they helped him, right? But he always outworked them. And that is critical because, you know, you can't teach hard work, but, you know, there's one thing I tell every young kid who's like, hey, I think I want to be a lawyer. And I tell them, you better like work.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to be grateful for work you do not like. I will tell you something right now. Will Rogers said that it's two things you don't want to see being made, law and sausage. And if anyone wants to come to the office one night and stay up till midnight writing a jury charge, right? Now, that's a hell of a lot of fun. It's not. But I am better for it, right? I outworked the other guy. And there's nothing better than being a kid from City College, double major, and there's some Yale or Harvard over there on the other side. You stick that size 12 Red Wing right where the sun don't shine. You know, that's a good feeling. That means you know that all those times, all those nights, all those hours, you know, all those times you're working on that free throw, it all counted, right? You made a difference in somebody's life, in their liberty, in their property, in a profound way. You can't phone that in.
Yeah. You know, working harder doesn't always, in my opinion, mean swinging the hammer more, right? Working harder to me is, how am I going to gain more knowledge, right? I need to continue to grow this mindset. That's how I'm going to work harder today. What makes me work harder? I'm going to show up and be a part of the RVBA, the Band of Brothers, the Legion, the other affiliations that I'm with, right? That's how I'm going to work harder. I'm going to work harder by being a better leader and taking the time to actually listen to my employees, right? Every single Friday, I do a recap of the week with my people. What did we do great? What did we do wrong? How can we be better? How can we prevent? You know what I mean? To me, that's working harder. You know, so working harder to me isn't, oh, well, I put in 18 hours today. Well, no, that means you fucking probably didn't work smarter. You know what I mean?
And it's a cliche to say it, you know, work smarter, not harder. A lot of people throw that thing around, but damn, it's so true, man, because I spent years bragging about, man, I worked 80 hours this week. And now I look back on it almost 40 years old and I go, man, what did I gain from working 80 hours a week for someone else? Now I get to work 80 hours a week for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the rewards of that hard work.
Absolutely.
You're seeing those damn paychecks roll in, those those, you know, we go from 6 figures to 7 figures, and that's all because we decided to change our thought process, began to work a little bit smarter. So when the hard stuff comes, we were able to get through it.
Yep.
Right? Because we had the knowledge so that we didn't have to beat ourselves up against the wall. We didn't have to throw in the towel. I was able to contact a lawyer and say, hey, man, these people are trying to steal my brand, or contact a contractor that's been in the business longer than I have, right? That's part of sacrifices, being able to become humble and admit your faults and reaching out for help and saying, hey, man, I'm not looking for a handout. I'm looking for a hand up.
Yeah.
So it's definitely important on how we define working harder. It doesn't always have to be labor intensive.
No, you've got to. Well, I mean, that kind of ties into your mastermind group, right? Iron Man didn't have it all figured out, right? He got technology and advantage from other people, right? And again, spoiler alert, Ant-Man was a big part of the Thanos solution. Doctor Strange was a big part of the Thanos solution.
Yeah.
Right? These are all people that he surrounded himself with, and they helped get to that end game. Whatever that end result is. If it's Mai Tais on, what's the name of that beach, Doc?
Tahiti, man.
Yeah, baby, that one. You want to ride a motorcycle in Mongolia?
Yes. No, I don't. I knew a guy that did that. It didn't end well.
Hey. Actually, it did.
For him, but hey, that's a whole nother story for another day.
But the point is, though, you know, working smarter. It is important to work hard. And Jeff, you're absolutely right. You know, there were so many, you know, years that I was patting myself on the back for how hard I worked for other people.
Yeah, man.
You know, and now I realize, you know, one, how bad an investment that truly was. But there were also some things that I was grateful for. You know, I learned a lot of things, a lot of what not to do, right? How not to be a leader, how not to run a business.
Yeah.
And, you know, those things, I'm still grateful for those things, but I also learned how to work smarter. You know, an early embracer of technology because of what I saw people holding on. Oh man, I made this capital investment in this Windows 2003 computer. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to squeeze the eagle off that quarter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at some point, Jeff, you always make fun of me for my little tiny MacBook, right?
Dude, that thing's
I've kind of retired that. It's now just for Zoom hearings and it stays in the office. But there was a reason at one time I bought that, because that was the only Mac that would fit in the saddlebag of a Harley Davidson. Okay. And all the ones that came out after that were too big to close the lid. So
you sacrificed for your Harley?
No. Hold up. Let me stop the train right now, because this guy has a MacBook that Steve Jobs made in his garage and still holds on to it. So, thank the good Lord above, you finally retired that thing, because it's been begging you to shoot it with a shotgun. But, you know, hey, here's the thing, man. We're not banging on people who work for other people and saying that hard work for someone else is not the right thing to do. Not everyone is cut out to be a business owner, and you're going to learn that real quick in the first people say 3 years. I think you're going to learn that shit in the first 6 months. Guarantee it that. So if you are sitting out there working for someone else, do your damnedest to do it at 110%. There's no reason to do it at anything less. Because every time you go there and you're working your tail off and you're doing something and you're learning, it's just a next step to your personal end game. We all have different end games. So
right.
As we were talking about that, it kind of hit my brain. I want to make sure that we're not beating down on people who work for other people, because those people work their asses off just like we do.
Well, that's right. And tie into that, Jeff, because, man, we must be on the same wavelength, because I have people that work, and I never say people work for me. Right, I have people that work with me because of the end game that I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And so you're right. Not everybody's cut out to be a business owner. It's tough. It's hard. It's brutal. Like, it will kick you in the teeth and then offer you fucking fake teeth to put back in your head. Like, it is hard work to be a business owner. The risk, liability, the whole 9 yards. But working for somebody that allows you not to have a ceiling can in turn help you become partner in that company, can help you have ownership in that company. You'll be CFO, CEO, freaking director of operations. The responsibility will be given to you so that you're equally making the same decisions that they're making. You're on the board of trustees. So it's all about what your end result is. What is your end game? Do you like risk or don't like risk? Do you want to be to have an opportunity? So I would suggest if you enjoy working with somebody or with a company, make sure that company offers you a glass ceiling that you can blow up and break through.
Absolutely.
That's what's important if you work with or for somebody, is that you're not limited to only making $15, $20 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody deserves 6 figures and up. I'm a firm believer of that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to bring in somebody that I was chatting with, and he is he's an awesome guy. This is you guys don't even know about this, but I'm going to bring him in right now. Here's our boy Jeffrey Lyons. Look at that shirt, baby.
All right.
That flow is cheap. I love that T-shirt.
I'm good, baby.
Say, hey, you know what? I thought it would be fun to bring Jeff in. Jeff is obviously a selfless person, just like we all are, involved in the community with the YPR and damn handsome. But he also just started a new company called Hype Train Media. So, you know, he cut the cord. He's on his own here. I felt, man, this will be a great time to bring him in and talk about your end game. What's your end game, Jeffrey?
Conquer the world.
There you go. It's the first step.
Now, the end game is to help everybody, especially in North Texas, but probably wherever. I mean, I can help anybody anywhere. Regional doesn't matter. But I want to blow it up, and I want to change up everybody's social media and make them a lot of money and have a lot of fun doing it and helping people and connecting the right folks with other good, bright folks.
That's it, man. Well, welcome to join us, man. I thought it would be cool to bring you in because, you know, you and I have talked a lot about what you've had going on and how you switched it over, and what a perfect time to be talking about an end game right here, man.
Yes, sir.
I think you're great.
Yeah. Now that you're on here, you mind if I pick your brain a little bit? What prompted you to freaking to do it? Like, where were you at? Where was your mind at? Where it was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing this. I'm ready. I got the knowledge. I have the ideas, the concept. You obviously have the cash flow with that T-shirt. So what happened? What triggered you to say fuck it?
I would say, really, I've been doing this on the side for quite some time, but it was kind of more for fun in a sense, right? It was for fun, and then fun was always a hobby, and then it was enjoyable because I was helping people and I was improving their businesses, friends, colleagues, family, etc. But of course, then time came where I kept doing it. I'm like, man, I can get paid for this. I can get paid really well for doing this, and that's all the more better. I can help them dramatically improve their business and improve lead generation, cash flow, exposure, brand awareness, etc. It's a lot of fun. And I mean, it's super fun. And, you know, ideally, if I do my job well, I'll get paid. I'll get paid well, and they'll be making a hell of a lot more money than they were before.
Well, and the idea behind what your services are providing is an act of selfless service, right? Obviously,
Absolutely.
Monetarily, you're running a business and you want to make money. So don't get it twisted. If you're running a business and you're doing it to break even, you may want to take a step back and look at your processes, right? But
Absolutely.
I felt like it was great to bring you on because the whole reason that the RVBA is what it is to show, with a little hard work, some decisiveness, selflessness, and a little bit of sacrifice, guys like you can step out of the comfort zone and start their own business and lean upon guys like Casey who have years and Doc who have years of experience that are successful. So, man, I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
Yeah, so here's what I heard, Jeff. Like, more 5, 6 times. It's fun, right?
That's right.
Right. And like, and honest to God, like, that is one of the key things of being a business owner. You better wake up and love what the fuck you do.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Or you're going to get burnt out real quick, and you're not going to wake up at 5, 6 in the morning and be excited and understand your why and all that other stuff that comes along with it. Like, you're just super pumped up and excited. You're like, bro, I love branding. I love freaking SEOing or whatever. I hate that shit. Okay. I'll be one of your damn clients because I can't stand it. I am a people person. I want to just get out there, shake hands, and make deals. But at the end of the day, you know it right on your head. You went into business for yourself because what you do, you're passionate about it and you love it. You know, so that's huge, and that's why Casey's a lawyer.
And plus, like, just for example, like today, right? Like today was so super fun. And I mean, and then every other day, like it pumps me up and motivates me. So the momentum I'm getting, like I'm already on like cloud 9, super hype level, right? Super crazy and motivated and fun. But it's like, now it's like even more like after each day of like all the fun and the build up, it's extremely humbling too. And like today, just went to go meet a gentleman for a business that's opening up. It's gonna be super awesome. It's gonna have a real nice tap room and restaurant. A lot of ideas and thoughts probably out there if y'all thinking about where it's going to be. And but as I go through there, and then one thing leads to another, I'm just literally there to help out. We got an event, a private event that's going to be happening there that he's going to be hosting for. And one thing led to another, I showed interest, and he had a lot of interest. I was like, man, it's like, you should have a much bigger following right now. Like this, the buzz from this should be massive. Why haven't I heard from them about this? I was like, that's an issue. So let's fix that. He's like, yeah, let's. And then one thing leads to another. Next thing you know, we're going to end up doing some fun stuff together for his business. But at the same time, I was like, man, how cool would it be for you to be able to go over to these folks over here at In Fuego? They've been an awesome chamber sponsor for tons of events, and they've helped us with the RVBA. They helped us out with a few other things too. And Lee Moore is good people. And so he's like, man, I love cigars. Next thing you know, boom, walk him on over there, introduce him to him. And they start talking about the idea of working together and doing business, and maybe like, you know, you get a beer here, you get a free cigar, or vice versa. You get a cigar here, you get a free beer at such and such. And like they both loved it. It was awesome. It's like, that's free. That's free. I didn't have to charge either for that. It was just being good people, taking care of people. Like they'll never forget that. I never will either, because it was fun and exciting watching the, you know, the fruit from that blossom. It's just awesome. That's rewarding. I get to do stuff like that all the time, and I got to do that a little bit at my other previous jobs as well. But like this in this capacity is just, I can't explain it. It is euphoric to say the least. It's extremely exciting. Oh yeah,
mindset, huh?
And you dictate it. I love it. Love it.
What do you thinking, Casey? I see the wheels spinning over there.
Yeah, bro, he's burning right now. What's up, Casey?
I'm stoked for you, Jeffrey. I did not know that you were going out on your own, and I am so thrilled for you. And, you know, I will just say, never look back.
No.
Never look back. And, you know, when you're talking about what your end game is, it's all those things we talked about: decisiveness, decision-making, selflessness. You have a servant's heart. You truly do. Because I've seen that in this organization and other organizations that we are lucky enough to be a part of. And, you know, the fact that you're going on this journey with the rest of us, I think is humbling, and it's inspiring. It reminds me of that day where I made that big decision to go ahead and file that LLC paperwork.
Yeah, baby.
I've been walking around with my I quit letter for 2 weeks. And I was just like, I'm ready, right? I'm ready. And, you know, you're going to have some moments where your name's going to get dropped, and some people are going to make a run at you to come back to corporate America. And, you know, it's going to happen. And I'm sure it happened to everybody on this call. And, you know, I was about a year out, and it wasn't great yet, but it was good, right? Because, you know, it takes a minute to get that, you know, that cash flow is king. Well, that doesn't happen like, you know, every overnight success is 10 years of bullshit that no one sees.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm a year into it, and my friend Adam, this lawyer that I really respect up in Sherman, Texas, calls me, and he's like, hey, man, this big firm in Dallas is looking for a guy, and they need a trial lawyer and blah, blah, blah. And I told them that they need to talk to you. And it was humbling. You know, here I get a phone call on my cell phone from this firm that, you know, like, it wasn't like the guy's secretary. It was the guy. Right? And he's like, he's making a run. He's like, come on down. You know, I'll have my chef cook up lunch. You know, we go take the Gulf Stream somewhere if you want. You know, I mean, they're going to make a run at you, brother. And it's really hard because, you see your end game, but then there's this diversion, right? Or there's, and you could spin off and you could get to your end game that way, maybe, but it wouldn't be what you envisioned.
Yeah.
Or whenever you file that LLC paperwork. So just remember, it's like anything else. If you're going to do it, commit to the lifestyle, and you will be so appreciative of it.
Because you won't regret it, man.
Yeah.
I look forward to this 2-3 years from now and talking with Jeffrey. And we did this with Jeff Skinner, Black Level. I remember when he launched and he was getting ready to cut the cord from the guy in Cali, and you know what I mean? Look at him now. He's like, fuck, I got so much. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? And where are you at? You're about 3 years running, 4 years running, Jeff?
Year three.
Right? And it happens faster than you think. It really does, especially in your industry that you're going into. Lions, I mean, everybody is looking for that lead gen SEO shit. And the problem with that is I don't know who to fucking trust. Right? Like, I get emails all day long. Hey, saw your shit on Facebook, saw this. I say, no, I don't. Everybody calls me. I get 10 calls a day. I can give you 10, Brandon. I can do this. I can do that. I'll hang up on them. You know what I do? Don't tell my wife. I say, hey, I need you to call my marketing manager.
Awful. It's awful.
I give her Rochelle's phone number.
Terrible.
Because she's cold, bro. She'll hang up on folks. She'll be like, nope, click. She's lofty. I'm like, sure. How much money do you want? But, I mean,
you're gonna kill
you guys. You got 3-4 years down the road and just hear those success stories. We look back on August 13, 2020, COVID. Boom. What? We're starting businesses. We're punching it right in the mouth and saying, you can't stop me.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
I like it.
I love it. Love it.
I like it.
Hey, well, you're going to kill it, man, and I'm glad you're able to join us. And just stick around for us a little bit. I mean, we're kind of getting close to wrapping it up here. But I just thought this was a great opportunity to kind of solidify everything we've been talking about in the month of July. All these tools in our toolbox as business owners and leaders in our business and what we're supposed to do to find the end game. And, hey, what do we know? Jeffrey right here popped in today because he's starting his path to the end game. Man, if that's not motivating, I don't know what is, man.
Right on.
Let's go.
Yeah. So
we're excited. So understanding our end game, for my takeaways, and I want each of y'all to kind of recap on that, is understand your 10-year goal. Work backwards from that 10 years, from 10 to 5, from 5 to 3, 3 to that 24-hour. That's how I'm able to accomplish the end game. I have a vision board. I'm looking at it right now. I'm able to go through, mark those boxes off, because it's all fun and games when you talk about it. But when you put that shit down on paper and you look at it every day and you hold yourself accountable and you got people like yourself holding you accountable, it ain't a game no more. This is reality. This is a life check moment. And own that shit every single day. Because before you know it, 10 years will go by. Ain't no doubt in my mind. I'm fucking looking here. I got a 16-year-old daughter. Like, what? We're supposed to have those. You know what I'm saying?
that's a whole nother discussion right there, brother.
That ain't no Facebook Live. I promise you that. But you guys get what I'm saying. We got to start somewhere. And today, Jeffrey Lyons, he decided to start his race right now. And remember, it's not a race. It's a marathon. So we're excited. How are you going to get to your end game, Casey? You can't be a trial lawyer for life, can you?
I don't know if I want to quit.
Because there's still an end result.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see myself on a beach in Tahiti.
I see you more like on a moped in Mexico.
Now.
Little one lung rice burning moped, chugging smoke.
Flip flops and board shorts and a white beard.
Well, real talk, if that's your end result, Casey, is to keep keeping people out of jail until you're at 90, then that's your end game. You know what I mean? As long as we understand what that is, then we'll be able to accomplish it.
You're absolutely right, though. I mean, I'm looking at my vision board right here, right? And that's 2020 in all 4 quarters. And, we've had to move some things around because of COVID, right? Because of this, Thanos-like Titan that's like fucking up the world. But, I had a very positive conversation today with my 2020, how we're going to move forward on our 2020, and one of the big moves that we're going to make is we're going to turn our satellite office in Collin County to a real office, right? That was a 2020 goal that has had to be pushed out. And, again, that's one of those things. You sign that letter of intent, you sign that initial lease agreement, and then coronavirus comes in, you're like, whew, man, that's a blessing in disguise. Or maybe it's just a blessing. But that shouldn't be the end of that goal. You've got to adjust that.
You got to adapt and overcome.
Right.
Absolutely.
So had, again, I love that, what you talked about, Doc. You got your 10-year plan, your 5-year plan, your daily plan, right? Adding discipline to your work day, adding your goals, make them, because if it's a goal has a deadline, a wish does not. Right. And you have an idea of when you're going to be on that beach in Tahiti. And I know I'm going to be in Mongolia in 2022 on a motorcycle.
2022.
Just saying.
Huh. Get 2 tickets. I want to do that. That sounds fun.
There's only 200 miles of paved road in the entire country of Mongolia.
It's fine. We'll just get a dirt bike.
That's exactly right.
Man, I've been all over this world a couple of times, and that's the last place I'm going. I don't know. Maybe they have that good Mongolian food, but hey, it is what it is, man.
Man, you hop into a badass side-by-side, Jeff. You'll go anywhere, okay?
Hey, Lions, what do you got for us, man? Any save rounds? I know you jumped in a little bit late, but it was a strategic move to bring you in at the last so we could kind of tie this whole thing together.
No, man, I'm just really excited. I'm super excited, super grateful, very thankful. I mean, I've had an incredible amount of mentors, great friends, and great colleagues, and folks like y'all guys, like my brotherhood, if you will, the fraternity that we have, which is incredible. We have a great community. We're blessed to be here and have what we do and be a part of what we are part of. And I mean, there's no telling how many things I've learned over the last 31 years of my life and everything that's come in between. And I would say the sense that, the future is dependent upon what work we're trying to put into it and what we're willing to give back to the community and mold it. And it's like, I'm not in it just to make money. If I make money, great, that's fantastic. But it's like, I want to be able to do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want, and however the hell I want. But in order to get that, I got to be able to work for it and earn it and be able to go and help mentor, inspire, in this case, help build the social media platforms and the followings and exposure for the brand and products and services, etc. And I want to be a part of that future, and I want to be able to do some really cool things. I think we will together. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I think you close this out perfectly, and it goes right into exactly what we end every week saying, is that the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance is a group of veterans and patriots that are in it to win it. We're here for each other. There's a long list of people that are a part of the RVBA. If you're interested in becoming a member or interested in just talking and understanding what we do, go back and listen to the last, I don't know, Doc, you said 4, 5, 6 months worth of these things. I'm telling you, man, we do this for each other. There's no more selfless people than the people that we surround ourselves with, and that's why we're winning. We're winning. You know what I mean? And it's not without a daily struggle, and it's not without some hard decisions. It's not without some sacrifice. So it's not all rainbows and puppy dogs. But I tell you what, you summed it up perfectly. We all, as business owners, get to do what we want, when we want, and how we want to do it. But we also have to hold ourselves accountable for those actions. With that being said, I think this is a fantastic conversation to wrap up the month of our Superhero July. Casey, thanks for the topic this week, man. I think it really wrapped it all together. And I appreciate the hell out of all you guys, boy. Hey, Lions, hype train.
Right. I love the name too, man. Hype Train Media.
Like that.
You're in the wrong spot.
So stay tuned, because we're going to be getting together over the weekend, and we're going to be coming up with the next 6 weeks to a couple of months worth of topics. If you're interested in getting on this platform, or you have information you want to bring to us, please call one of us if you have our numbers. Hit us on the Facebook message. We're always looking for beautiful faces to get on here and talk with us, because we love providing free value, and all we want to see is people succeeding, and we're in it to win it, baby.
I guarantee you they're tired of looking at my ugly mug.
Nah, I don't think so. You're pretty You're pretty good looking, man.
You gotta stay humble, Jeff. I was waiting for you to say it for me.
There you go.
That's it.
Humility at its best. Enjoy
That's
your
it. You got it. All right, gents. See ya.
All right.
See you guys. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Guys.
Jeffrey, outstanding, man.
I'm pumped. I'm hyped for you.
It's gonna be fun.